There's 2 computer science, one in EECS, the other one in School of Liberal Sciences. And UC Berkeley is not the only school that does it. Many other schools have computer sciences offered in different schools, different departments. You need to decide which program is meant for you, which program is more advantageous for you to get in first to your dream college. So Jeffrey will talk about that a little bit. And then Nicolle is studying a school at UPenn this fall. She has been a ShareWorld student ever since she was first grade. And she's going to graduate school, but she will talk about what happens throughout the process and so whatnot. So, okay, let's start with, this is a dream catcher, as you know, of Native Indians. And I want you to catch your dreams, and in order to catch your dreams, you need to catch the right information. There are lots of rumors in this area about college applications. I want to make sure that you have the correct information so that you won't wander off. So, important thing is, no matter which college you're going to, you have to be yourself. You have to find what you like. You have to know who you are. And I like what MIT says on the admission page. This is exactly from MIT admission page. College is not a costume party. You are not coming as someone dressed like someone who is not really you. You have to come in as you. The important thing is you need to show us that you're ready to try. You need to show colleges that you're ready to explore and find your true passion. So you can go to this website and find that. There are lots of good information on MIT website. Okay, so in order to find who you are, what you like, you need to explore, you need to engage, then you need to manage. So once you find what you need, then you can act on your own intentions instead of acting on what your parents tell you to do. Instead of saying, I'm taking physics AP because my parents tell me to do, I want to do programming because my father tells me to do, I want you to be doing it because you like to do it. So once you find what you like to do, there comes time management. It's going to be very important when you have lots of classes going on, AP classes, honor classes. You have to get engaged in many different activities. So time management is very important in high school. Regardless, if you don't know what you want, fine, go explore instead of sitting and thinking what I want, what am I going to do with my life. And in order to explore, you also need, just like Boy Scout adventures, you need a navigation map, right? So what goes in college application forms is not just numbers, SATs and GPAs. That's important. That's about 50 to 70% of the admission review. You have solid coursework, your GPA weighted and unweighted, and test scores, pre-SAT, SAT, ACT, SAT2. Activities. For activities, it's quality over quantity. You need to do one activity that is meant for you, continuously do it, and do it well. Competitive edge, you also need to add, particularly if you want to go for science major, you need to add a competitive edge by going to different competitions. If you don't win, that's okay. It's an experience. It's an experience that goes on your application form to show colleges that you have tried and you have interest and you have passion. So there are many competitions you can go in the area. So try, and then at the very end comes essay writing, interviews, portfolio, supplementary such as research papers. So for 12th graders, I'll briefly talk about how we tackle essays at ShareWorld later. And then when you're 12th grade going into 12th grade, or even you're juniors, you need to start visiting colleges and you need to start thinking about how you're going to combine your application with early actions, early decisions, and rolling admissions. Early action is not binding. It's just to let you know that you are in by a particular school by December 15th. Early decision is binding. This should be the school you really want to go to, even willing to pay the money through tuition. You can only do early decision to one school, but there are schools who also offer early decision too in January. Okay? And combination of reach schools, target schools, and safety schools. Many students want to do all Ivy Leagues, all 9 of them, all 10 of them. But those are going to be always reach schools. And you put yourself in a very difficult situation when you have 9 IB school essay writings, when you're taking AP classes in 12th grade. So have 2 or 3 rich schools, a good number of target schools, and a few safety schools where you think you can get money. So 12 to 15, counting UC system as one, is usually a good number. That means you'll be writing about 20 to 30 essays by the time you apply to 12 schools. So, there comes academic preparation. Let's talk about what you have to do, what classes you have to take, what your high school requires to graduate, and what UC requires to make you qualified to apply to UC systems, and what other colleges want you to finish is slightly different. So this is academic preparation for MIT and Caltech. I brought MIT and Caltech because many of you are going for that, and also math and physics requirement is very strict. So Caltech says 4 years of math, including calculus, and physics, chemistry, and biology, and mixed biology. Yeah, physics and chemistry has to be taken, no matter what. And MIT, 1 year of high school physics, 1 year of high school chemistry, 1 year of high school biology. So both schools, 3 areas of science is very important, regardless of your major. In calculus, that means you have to start 9th grade with at least Algebra 2. Otherwise, you cannot get to calculus by the time you are applying to school. And then UC has an A to G coursework requirement. So math, 9th grade math level is critical because you want to know where you're going to end when you're in 12th grade. And UC has this strange rule that geometry has to be taken for credit. You cannot just take geometry on your own and skip to Algebra 2. You have to show UCs you have geometry credit. And it comes science. Many public schools, you have to make a decision. Am I going to take Chem Honor, or am I going to chemistry? Or in 10th grade, am I going to skip to physics so that I can take physics AP before I apply to college and think about chemistry later? English, should I take AP literature or not? I'm going for science. Is it necessary for me? Or I'm not going for science. Should I take AP literature? Do I take A pushed? It's so hard. I have to read 50 pages a day as a homework. Is it really meant for me? Should I take it because it's an AP course? Or foreign languages. Some colleges prefer 4 years. Some colleges say 2 years. Some colleges say 3 years. Should I take Chinese? Should I take Spanish? Should I not take anything and just test out? Because there is a test out where you can take SAT language test or AP language test to bypass the requirement and allow yourself more time to take another electives. So the electives can be business, engineering, science. Each student is different. We need to make a plan so that you have a very good plan for 4 years, covering the areas you need to cover to make you a good candidate. So at each stage in your come February, March, when you're planning for coursework, this question is going to come out. So as a counselor, I spend time with my students between January to March to plan out and see if the coursework is very solid and manageable. Being manageable is very important, because if you have 3 AP courses, 4 AP courses in 11th grade, and also still preparing for AP SAT test taking, it's going to take a lot of time. So you need an optimal course selection for you, not just because someone else is taking more AP classes. It has to be meant for you so that you can perform to the best of your ability. So when you make a course plan, you have to emphasize in the area that you hope you will go into later. If it's science, science. If it's literature, it's literature. And if that's not enough, and maybe it's not enough, but it's offered at high school, it's never going to be enough to make you a competitive candidate. So you want to consider taking additional college courses during the summer or online. If you want to take it during summer at college, make sure you take a course that says UC transferable so that it will be counted into your GPA. It won't show on your high school transcript, but UC would calculate it into it. If you don't want to take that chance, that's fine. Take a class that is not UC transferable but shows your interest. Then you can put that on your application, say I have explored beyond my high school to satisfy my intellectual curiosity. That carries great value. So this is a typical senior year coursework. If you plan very well at what level math you're going to start. If you're going to engineering, I hope you're done with all the math offered by your high school, going to multi-variables, taking it in college. AP Physics C, whatever social history, English, and elective. If you're going for pre-med, other science, AP Calculus, AP BC doesn't matter as long as you're taking calculus level. AP Science, hopefully it's AP Chemistry or AP Biology. AP Gov, AP Econ. AP Econ is a good class for everybody, no matter what. And then English and AP Psychology is also a good thing to take because MCAT requires psychology and it's just a good thing for everybody to take. And it's an AP course and AP test is relatively easy. If you're going into business area, AP Statistics is very important. If you're going for computer science, also AP Statistics is important these days because of the big data. And other science, AP Gov, AP Econ is a must if you're going for that area. AP or regular English and business class. So AP Psychology also is good for business majors. So this is just a senior year sample coursework. But in order to get to this level, you have to start 9th grade correctly so that you have those. We can always make changes, but you need a plan. So this is, in addition to that academics, this is 14 criteria that UC is going to look at when you review your applications. And this applies to almost every colleges. And if you look at it, 14 of their 14 categories, how am I going to fulfill all these 14? Look closely. Out of those 14, 10 of them are about the academics. So grade point, test scores, course completed, honor courses, local context, you have to top 59% of California high schools. That's based on your GPA. Performance in academic subject areas, that's also GPA. So the only two items, except for geographical location, which doesn't apply to you in this area, only two. Achievement is special project. Special Talents Achievement Award. Those two are the only ones that do not directly relate to academics. Nonetheless, 7% of the review is based on academics. 30% is based on this two little thing. That means you have to choose your activities very well and do it very well. Then I get these questions a lot from my student. So shall I take AP test without taking classes to show that I can do it? Is it better to take SAT subject test, although it's not required? UC doesn't require, should I take it? I don't like piano, but my mother says I have to do piano. Should I still continue? I don't like programming, but my dad says I should do it. Should I do it? Believe me, I encountered this many times. The students come and say, Yoshida, I don't really like computer science. And then father says, no, I want my son to make money. It has to be computer science. And I have to be in between judging. Because I understand both situations. As a parent, I understand what the parents come from. I also understand what the students feel like. So you should communicate together. But this is very important because I don't want you to go into the field you don't even like, because you're going to change when you get into college. So half the student of mine who went into college computer science, they don't end up in computer science. On the other hand, more than half go into college not as computer science, end up being a software engineer. So you can change, okay? I just want you to be happy during high school because that actually shows you in the application form. When I read the essays, I can tell when the students are writing it happy or just writing it because they have to write it based on their experience. So, wrong motivation. Is this good for college? Is this good to go to Thailand to do volunteer? Is this good for college? Yes, it is good for college, but don't do it if you don't want to do it. There are other volunteer opportunities. So my job here is to discuss with you what makes you happy and also appeals to college. Find the meeting point. Okay? So instead of saying, is this good for college? I want you to think, is this good for my personal development? Is it going to make me grow to be a better person? That should be the motivation that it comes from. Because ultimately what colleges want to know is, do you have life besides schoolwork, or are you just going to school and studying every day? Or did you take initiative to do some things for your school, for yourself, for your family, for the community? Have you done anything to explore more of the area you want to go into, regardless it's medicine, computer science, business, history? How are you pursuing your interests if you're going to do that? And are you connected to the world outside? Again, going back to, do you have any life outside of school? So, no matter how busy you are at school with your studies, homework, and tests and SAT test taking, you have to be involved outside of school doing something. Sports, volunteer work, your hobby, anything. To show the colleges that you have done it, you like it, you have life outside. So you need to demonstrate your intellectual curiosity by attending camps, by taking college courses, by taking online courses. You need to show personal growth. I studied out 9th grade as a junior varsity, the worst person in the team, but in 12th grade I became a captain. 4 years. You need to show your growth, and you can communicate and work together. Particularly if you're going into engineering, it's very important that you can show colleges you can collaborate and make a product. So go to hackathons, any other opportunities you can get to show that you have worked as a group. It's going to be required in the essays for engineering schools. Alright, so that having said, let's see what happens when you're applying to college. So this is a college essay. This side is what it started out with, what student gave me. That side is what we worked together and improved. So there's nothing wrong with this, it's fine. This is the true feeling, okay, I love Lego, and so that's how I got interested in mechanical engineering. But we're gonna make it a little bit more interesting when the College of Admission Builders are reading 10,000 admission essays. So we want to make the opening a little bit more interesting to catch their attention, and then show that my house is a virtual museum of my evolving history of Lego, meaning you have been doing it for a long time and you have developed. So here and there you need to throw in a little bit of a keyword to show colleges that this is really what you're interested in. Second one, this student was great musician, also very interested in science, and he couldn't pick one of the two to write an essay. Normally we want students to focus on one area, but he couldn't decide, so he wanted to talk about both. So he said, okay, my mother was a piano teacher, my mother trained me in music, my father was a scientist, he introduced me to the world of science, I'm interested in both, I pursued both. It goes to two different ways. We need to somehow organically put them together. So I read a lot of books about scientists and said, okay, let's sit and think. If you want to be a musician and scientist, is there something that scientists and musicians share? So we're great scientists in history, we're also great musicians at the same time. So we came up to this. Great, Edison played piano, Einstein played violin, I play violin, I like physics. But that's about other people, other scientists. What about me? What makes me me? As someone who loves science and loves music, what accomplishments have I made? What contributions have I made to my school, to my community by being a person I am? That's where you want to go. So that's how we would improve with my student. That's why essay writing takes a lot of time. Okay. And you also are battling with time. You see your applications already open for 12th graders. Common application already open. All application is open. So Many students these apply to University of Illinois. They actually accept application forms starting September 1st. So you should apply early to get merit-based scholarship. Cal State, San Jose, Cal Poly, they don't open until later. So don't worry about it now. Start working on UC, the most important one. Application is open now. You just can't submit until November. Georgia Tech is the earliest early action, already accepting by October 15th. University of Washington, unfortunately, is due before UC. You have to finish this college before UC, and it's on a different application format. So you need to spend G amount of time to do both UC and those colleges. Okay? So with my student, I make Excel sheet with deadlines, essay topics, how we're gonna tackle these essays, and when are we going to finish. Because unless we give them personal deadline, they wait until the last moment. Because for many of you, January 1st is not going to come for 6 more months. So parents get very, very nervous. So anyway, although 70% of the application is based on your SAT scores and GPAs and courseworks, 30% your activities, those numbers are just numbers. Each student's case is different. I have variety of student cases, variety of success stories. Each of you is different. So I hope that we have time to sit down and plan your path to your dream college so that you can manage your time, enjoy your high school life, and go to the dream school. Okay. So I'll be available after the seminar to ask any questions from desk. Now I'll give it over to Jeff Lee and Nicolle, and they can talk about their experience here. Who wants to go first? You want to go first? Okay. So this is Nicolle.
I am Dr. Yoshida's daughter, very famous. Sorry about that.
But I didn't help her much with college application because my husband didn't pay me to do that. I was really busy helping other students.
So as mentioned, my name is Nicolle Jacobacci. I graduated with honors and magna cum laude with a bachelor's degree in biology from Scripps College. And this fall, I'll be going to University of Pennsylvania for veterinary school, which is the top private university for veterinary medicine in America. And ShareWorld teachers, as well as the college counseling planning program, was very instrumental in my success in high school and in college, and it led me to my admission to Penn Vet, which obviously I mentioned, very top university. And I understand that college is when you plan for it, it's really depressing, it takes a lot of time. It was very stressful for me as well, but I took a breath each day, try to make the best of every day. And as a result, at the end of the day, once you've planned everything and when you receive all those college admissions and college decision letters, it pays off in the end. And so today I want to talk about my process with college application and how that led me to the college that I picked, as well as how that led me to vet school in the end. And so I understand that many students don't have a plan right now, and they don't know what they want to do, and I really understand that a lot of my friends in college didn't really know what they wanted to do, but before they even went to college, they had to have a plan. They had to make themselves stand out compared to other students. And so what they had to do, as well as what I did, was I had to show intellectual interest. I had a lot of leadership positions in clubs, as well as outside of school. I was also part of many competitions, not including just academic, but also more martial arts and sports. And I was also committed to a lot of the activities that I was doing. So as mentioned, emphasizing what Dr. Yoshida said, I came up with a plan. And so with my academic performance, I was a part of biology, chemistry. I had a big focus on STEM classes. I was a part of the leadership club at school and high school. I was also in leadership in the community where I was a volunteer. I was also co-chair for some community activities. I was also had a lot of research experience with talents. I also had martial arts as well as horseback riding. And you have to show that you need to say, like, I do have a life outside of my college application, as everyone wants to know. You're just reading from a piece of paper, but they want to get to know more about, do you really have a life than just academics? And so what I started with before I even began high school is I was taking Mr. Johnson's class ever since I was young. I also volunteered at the Humane Society of Silicon Valley, really young, when I was in 5th grade. I was a camp counselor in training at Garrett Farms in Saratoga. I applied for a zoo team position at the Happy Hollow Park and Zoo, and I also competed for the United States national team for martial arts, and I qualified for the Pan Am Games. And while that was happening, I also had SAT preparation. It also helped me with my presentation skills. I was preparing for a lot of the competitive biology and science camp, as well as my classes in school, which led to me having a sustained activity and also having a unique experience and also multiple talents. So in school, I took many honors classes, which exposed me to a lot of fields. It helped me to solidify my tutoring skills. I was a tutor for science and math for a lot of students in my high school. And that also helped to hone my presentation skills and a lot of my social skills, which is actually very important for college. As if you do interviews, that's really important, as you can build a relationship. You want to build those social skills. And I also was a part of the science fair of Synopsis, which is a competitive science and math competition. And we qualified for the state competition, so that was really important. And that was really what gained my interest in science. And so for each summer, as you can see outside, I would do, for example, I was a bilingual translator for the Stanford Asian Liver Center. I did do the Cosmos summer camp program during my summer of my freshman year to my sophomore year. I also did the Tufts Pre-Vet camp for high school students during my sophomore to junior year. I was an intern at a vet clinic, so that helped to expose me to veterinary medicine, as this is also a similar path to if you want to go to med school. And so that's what a lot of students would do. And I was also part of the Young Scholars Program from my summer of my junior year to my senior year. As you can see, I did a lot during the summer, but I also did a lot during the school year as well. So some of my activities that I did, I was a co-chair, mentor at the Humane Society of Silicon Valley for a lot of students who are interested in fundraising for animal shelters. I was also a zoo team at the Happy Hollow Zoo, which definitely improved my social skills, presentation skills, interaction skills, being able to handle different situations on the spot, handling with children as well. I also fundraised for a nonprofit organization for the 2011 victims in Japan. I was also an assistant coach, so I teach martial arts to a lot of students and adults. And lastly, I was also, I went to a Catholic high school, so I was a part of the campus ministry, where I would mentor students with their religious pathway or help to assist a lot of the pastors in our school and teachers at our school for religious studies.
So all these activities take time you need to manage, and I did a lot of driving.
Yes, she did every day. And on top of that, I also had a lot of outside activities for my pleasure, and so one of them was horseback riding. It was very therapeutic for me. I also did martial arts, which kept me fit, now going on 18 years, and that helped me to gain a lot of awards as well, because that's pretty important when it comes to the college application process. As Dr. Yoshida said, it helps you to stand out. And I did a lot of voice training as well, as I was a part of the choir in my freshman year of high school. And that also helped me to gain my presentation and social skills. And with volunteer engagement, there's also the fun side of it, but as importantly it is, you do build a network, which is really important, as that helps you to get into college. When college starts, you need to build that network as well for future job opportunities, for graduate school, for future internship opportunities as well. For your college applications, and one mistake I did make while I was in when I was in high school was I fell behind on SAT test taking and the ACT, which did take a lot of my time and attention. I didn't do any early action schools, and I regret that. If I should have done it, as it would have saved me some more time and a lot of stress, especially on Dr. Yoshida. She was very stressed out. And so that was a lot of work, but overall in the end, I was trying to be realistic with a lot of my choices, as there are a lot of reach schools, and I tried not to apply to a lot of the Ivy schools as they were too far off reach for me. I just applied to a certain number of reach schools, and I also had to give myself a lot of range of choices. So there are also target schools, which are your target schools, which I had a list of, safety schools as well as the reach. And I do encourage that you go to college tours that do make an impression on you, as some of them might remember you if you make some questions, comments. They're very important, as the interviews too. The interviews are most important, that actually sometimes it could boost your chances on your application process, as in many ways it did help me with my interviews. And essay writing, planning, and scheduling is very important. So it's really important to have this plan. What you want to do, you may not know, but have a plan that's set out for you during your high school years. And the summer applications that I have had for summer programs, Young Scholars Program, Cosmos, anything that helped me to improve my college application process, but also give me and expose me to what is the college application process like. And so in the end, when I was a senior, I was accepted to Berkeley for biology, UC Davis for animal science. I was also accepted to Scripps College, which is where I attended, for biology. Some colleges offered scholarships, such as University of Washington, Mount Holyoke as well. But these are the important questions that I would ask myself before deciding between what college I wanted to go to. I know my Dr. Yoshida shared the story of I was really torn between UC Davis and Scripps College, as I really wanted to be a veterinarian.
No, I wanted UC Berkeley.
Yes, that was not on my mind, unfortunately. It was between Davis and Scripps College, as I wanted to be a veterinarian. And so for each of the questions, I say which college would give me the most advantage for graduate school, which college allows me for flexible course planning, which one's good for pre-vets, which one does have a pre-vet advisory. It wasn't more of the name of the school that was most important to me, but what would give me good opportunities in the future as I wanted to go to graduate school. And where can I stand out the most in which school? So in the end, I decided that a small liberal college allows me to be more unique, as I did go to a private high school when I was young, but I also did attend a public middle school and public elementary school, so I understood the hardships of both. And a lot of my college friends did complain about some of the public schools, in the sense that if you want to go in the science program, there's about 500 students for biology in one class, so the teacher might not know you. As for when I attended college, the most was about 60 students. And so I went to office hours, had one-on-one talks, was able to make appointments with my professors, which was really nice. They wrote me recommendation letters. I've also had a faculty advisor to help me throughout this process when it came to graduate school. I had a lot of research opportunities. I was an intern and a research assistant at Stanford University for 2 years, and at Keck, so that allowed a lot of opportunities and legway, especially when I applied to graduate school. I've also had an internship opportunity in the summer, which was quite competitive, at Oakland Zoo, that really boosted my chances with vet school. And I was also a president of the veterinary club in college, as well as I was a mentor for a lot of Asian American students, especially for the freshmen, where we were mentors and guiding them into school and trying to get them comfortable and fitting in. And I had a lot of resources, built a lot of networks with relationships with a lot of people in the wider Los Angeles area. Thank you for listening.
Here. So next we have Jeffrey talking about computer science at UC Berkeley.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey. I'm currently studying at UC Berkeley, and I'm a CS major. And I'm also a rising junior. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about the difference between EECS and CS. So EECS stands for Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and CS is just Computer Science. So first, CS major. This one is in the College of Letters and Science, and upon graduation, you get a Bachelor of Arts degree. And so the unique thing about this one is that when you're admitted into Berkeley, you go into your major undeclared, which means you're inside the College of Letters and Science, but you're not inside the CS major. And so the only way to get into the CS major is if you take 3 classes and you declare it. So if you take 3 classes, you will need to get a 3.3 GPA in the 3 prerequisite classes to be able to declare. And the 3 classes are 61A, 61B, and 70. So there's an intro to programming, which is in Python, a data structures class, which is in Java, and then a discrete math class. So these are the only 3 classes that you need to get a 3.3 GPA in. So if you get a better GPA in other classes, that won't help. And if you do worse in other classes, that won't affect your chances either. And yeah, everyone who gets a 3.3 GPA will be able to declare. So it's not based on a curve. And the requirements for graduation in CS is 20 upper division courses in EE or CS and 7 technical elective units. So these are the technical CS requirements for a CS major. And since you're in the College of Letters and Science, there's also a 7 breadth requirements. And so over here are 7 categories, and so every student will need to take 1 class in each of the 7 categories. And what breadth means is just humanities. So 7 humanities classes. And so, yeah, any questions on the CS major? Okay, moving on to EECS major. Again, this stands for Electrical Engineering and Computer Science. And this one is inside Berkeley's College of Engineering department. And you get a Bachelor of Science degree when you graduate. And so when Berkeley admits students, people who apply to EECS gets admitted directly into EECS. So when they get into Berkeley, they are already in the EECS major. And so the difference between this and CS is that the acceptance rate for this one is much, much lower. And so it's much harder to get into, but the good part is there's no GPA requirement to get into the major.
Well, that doesn't mean it can be low. There's no cutoff for that.
Right.
Higher, right?
Yeah. So there's no GPA requirement to get in, but there is a GPA requirement to stay in.
And what is that?
2.0.
So you're saying high school GPA or
So-
was there no GPA for
No.
What does that mean?
This means that when you get into Berkeley, you don't need to get a certain
maintain.
GPA to get it. Yeah. Once you get into Berkeley, you're already in the EECS major.
What it means is when you're applying, UC give you 8 points, extra point for honors and AP classes, right? There's no cut like 8 for this one. So the higher the better. That's what it is. So you're at a very high
Yeah.
competition to get in.
So for CS, when you're applying to college, when you're applying to Berkeley and you select CS and they accept you into Berkeley, you're not CS, you're undeclared. So you can apply as CS and go into like statistics or physics, that's also possible. And by the way, 3.3 GPA is the average B+.
Which is not easy, right? At Berkeley.
Yeah. So, yeah, these 3 classes in the past couple of years recently have averaged around like almost 2,000 people, and the class curves to around a B or B+.
Wow.
So you just need to do average or a little bit better. And I don't know how that sounds to you guys, but you're gonna be competing against other intended CS people and other EECS people this year. Yeah.
So what would be the timing to take those classes?
So people usually take 1 class every semester. So these are like the main CS technical classes. So most people would take 61A in their first semester, 61B in the spring semester, and then CS70 maybe in their sophomore fall semester. Any more questions? Okay, so the requirements to graduate as in EECS is very similar to CS. You'll also need 20 upper division units in EE or CS, plus 5 additional engineering units. So the 20 is exactly the same as CS, but the 5 additional units are like electrical engineering or physics. So those are the EE part of the EECS. And there's also 4 social science and humanities courses. So that's the other difference between the two. But basically the CS part in EECS and CS are exactly the same. It's just the other classes you'll be taking are slightly different. CS takes a little more humanities classes, whereas EECS takes more electrical engineering and physics. So who should choose what? People who are thinking about EECS are probably students who prefer traditional STEM curriculum. So meaning like a curriculum which has physics, engineering, like math, that type of stuff. So EECS and CS has slightly different requirements, and EECS just requires a little more engineering. So students who wish to go into EE, they only have one option, and that's EECS. And students who are certain about their major choice should go into EECS too, because they're admitted directly into the major. So on the other hand, people who should go into CS are people who are interested in double majoring in a non-engineering field such as math, statistics, physics, English, even like econ, psychology. All of these are possible. And so students who also prefer flexibility also should go into CS, because once you're admitted into Berkeley, you don't have to stay in CS. And so students who want to focus in CS and are not interested in EE can also choose CS too, because the CS part in both of them are exactly the same. And yeah, students who are also exploring their major, there's more options if you go into CS. Any questions on this? Okay, and here are just some numbers. So this graph shows the number of undergraduates right now in Berkeley in CS and EECS. So yeah, CS is actually becoming a much more popular major these couple of years, whereas EECS is relatively the same. So right now, the amount of students in EECS and CS are roughly the same, with CS being a little more popular. And then the graph on the right just shows the number of bachelor degrees granted to CS and EECS people. So in 2017, around 59% were CS and around 41% were EECS.
What's the graduation rate?
Graduation rate? I don't have that statistic, but I'm guessing it's around 100%.
But your number is the match.
You can ask Dr. Yoshida.
Graduation rate for EECS or
I
graduation?
mean, you have 3,000 people there, you only have
Oh, so
less than 1,000 graduates.
this is including juniors, seniors.
Ah,
So this is everyone in Berkeley.
got it.
And that one is the graduating class. And that's the last one. Yeah, so any more questions? I can take any questions. Yeah.
Is it sort of known how many or what proportion of people who want to go into CS actually manage to compare?
That's a really good question. I've done a lot of research, and so Berkeley does not release the statistic, but I've heard like people say it's around like 60%. I definitely think it's more than half though. So yeah,
What
if
was
you're
the question?
so what is the percentage of people who want to go into CS actually declaring CS? So yeah, I don't know what that number is, but the estimate is around 60%, so more than half. Yeah, and all of these I got from the Berkeley website. Any more
doesn't
questions?
mean that majoring applied mathematics, statistics, physics, but in the end, you can all get jobs in Silicon Valley if you're doing well. So you don't have to be a CS major to be in the high-tech industry.
Yeah, and if you don't get into CS, there's a lot of like backup options which are also good.
So,
Yeah.
does Berkeley have this fifth-year master degree option, like some UCs?
Fifth year, yeah, they do. I don't know too much about it, but yeah, there are some people who get a master's degree in 5 years.
Yes, it's a 5-year program. And many students, for my students, actually get it in 4 years because they have lots of AP classes to write off. So UC is a big public school, but there are many options for you. Right?
Yeah, it's a great school.
It is.
So
yes.
which one are you in?
I'm in CS. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see the same kind of thing, proportion with science side, not the computers, but other biology.
What do you mean? So,
Number of students,
So
600 is.
I don't have the statistics, but UC, not just UC Berkeley, but all UC campuses offer very different branches of biology. You just need to know where you fit. And some are very competitive, some are less competitive, and within that, it's usually easy to change.
Thank you.
yeah.
Do you follow UCB MFET?
Oh, yes, I do.
What is that?
It's an inside joke.
It's Facebook page. It's a
Can we save a question for Jeffrey after the seminar? Because we have other teachers we can speak to.